Hello YouTube, and hello my subscribers. Sorry about the camera angle. I'm using my phone, it's on its stand. It's a Galaxy Note 2, so it's really the only thing I can use right now. If I get, I guess, ambitious and motivated enough, I'll find my camera and the cable that charges it. So, yeah, just letting you guys know that I've been drinking a little bit, so I like wine. This is like $3 wine. Yeah, it's not bad. But yeah, this wouldn't be my first YouTube video on my channel that I've been drinking. I have several actually. Some from Hong Kong. Like I was doing a 5x5 solve in a Russian bar. It's like Sub-Zero, whatever. And I had another one where I was talking to this guy about his experience with Rubik's Cube when he was a kid, when the cube first came out. It was an interesting conversation, if you can find it in my YouTube videos. I have some other drunk videos too, but this isn't the first one, so I'm drinking a little bit right now because it's not been a good day. It's been a sad day, so you can probably see it in my eyes. They're kind of like, you know, but yeah, eyes are a little bit swollen. So I turn on the camera now because I've been wanting to say this for a while. Really thinking about it for the last week or two. Life can be very difficult depending on who you are, what you're going through, and what you have been through. And I probably shouldn't be drinking because I get too drunk, I might hurt myself. I did it about a month ago. I cut myself pretty bad. I did that with a knife. So, anyways, I started a series of videos. A few people commented on them. I deleted the videos. It was just after experiencing one of the toughest things in my life. Some things that a lot of people have never experienced. Some people experience it, but it doesn't happen too often. Nobody died. Everybody's okay. At least I hope no one's died in the process. So, but yeah, I want to talk about things in the past year, specifically mid-June. Well, not necessarily mid-June, but early July, and through the World Championships, Rubik's Cube World Championship 2013. I did not want to be there. I had gotten my tickets in advance, probably around New Year's, around 2012, because World Championship was going to be in the U.S. I mean, it's really close. It was in Las Vegas, and I had lived in Colorado. I'm in Rock Springs now, so Wyoming, for multiple reasons. And perfect opportunity to get to a world championship that's really close by. I mean, it was in driving distance, but I flew there. I didn't want to go because of the timing and financial issues, and also puzzle addictions issues. So, sorry, I'm going to be really rambly, a little bit drunk, so if you listen, that's fine. I don't really care so much. I just want to get this out. I didn't want to go to World Championships. I wanted to refund that. I tried to, couldn't do it. And my wife was watching the kids, so I could go to the World Championship. When I was there, I didn't take a whole lot of videos. I wasn't into it like I should have been. Now, I've been cubing since maybe July 2008. My daughter was about 6 months old. My wife, she got me a Rubik's Cube keychain, and she knows that I'm smart, and I was bored at work, so I, went to YouTube. I watched Pokebat's video on how to solve the Rubik's Cube, so I learned through him, like the great majority of cubers like you probably had or did. so that's something we can relate to. So, yeah, I learned how to solve Rubik's Cube. I just got a Rubik's branded cube because the keychain broke after like 2 solves. And my wife, she found HK Now store in Hong Kong. So she found it. I didn't find it myself because she knows the language, she knows the people there. And we met Calvin and his wife of HK Now store. His wife's name's Tiffany. So I bought a lot of puzzles there. I probably spent like $2,000 there. We become good friends. My wife especially, she went and visited him probably more than I did. She actually bought me a lot of cubes and puzzles and really got me connected to him. And then Calvin really wanted me to start business because I'm the white guy in Hong Kong. I'm right next to him. And, it's a perfect business opportunity for him. He can wholesale cubes to me, and I can do the business. It would have been really smart, and if I planned it really good, could have started in Hong Kong back in 2008 instead of coming back to the U.S. I was in the military in Hong Kong, so I had to leave eventually to come back to the U.S. I totally regret coming back because there was so much shit in the military that I had to deal with. That with my wife. We didn't get married in the military, and that was a big issue with my daughter being born. Huge decisions back then. And this is all before I started cubing. And sorry, going through some memories. But yeah, a lot of good stuff happened. A lot of stuff I wish I could go back to and stay in Hong Kong and do business there. It probably would have worked out good. I mean, Hong Kong right now, it really sucks. The economy is just blown up. It's because a lot of Chinese people moved in and ruined a lot of things. Even Calvin, he moved out of Hong Kong. He went to China and stuff like that. I miss Hong Kong. There's a lot of good stuff there. I mean, a lot of my videos and stuff, that's what really got my YouTube channel going. That's what really motivated me. I mean, I was right there at HK Now store and got stuff. But, yeah, moving back to the U.S., I was going to get a pretty good job as a manager for SofaMart. I declined that because at the time we were living with my parents, and my mother's an alcoholic, and that was a big problem with my stepfather. We really wanted to move out of there, and I was getting the green card application for my wife. It was all ready to go with the money order, and we decided to cash that money order and move the fuck out of there. Start a business in Lakewood. It's around Denver. This is when I first started Puzzle Addictions. A physical store. Very bold move, and both my wife and I were persuaded by this Chinese guy. His name's John. Few people know him. He's quite deceptive too. But that didn't work out too well, like I'd hoped for. But it was a good eye-opener, first time opening Puzzle Addictions physical store, along with the online store. We were there 7 months. And at the time, we struggled pretty much the whole time. And my grandparents, they jump-started the business, the Puzzle Addictions. They gave me pretty much about $10,000 to start with. It's like $5,000 for inventory and $5,000 to get the store ready. Shortly after opening Puzzle Addictions in Lakewood, I had a competition there right at the store. Although there was only 14 competitors, it was It was good. I mean, not too often does that happen where you get to organize competition where you get to bring in competitors, and I got third place. That was fun. Oh, that was a hell of a day. I ran around a lot trying to sell puzzles and be an organizer, so that was difficult. Even just for 14 people, I wasn't quite prepared for it. So my grandparents were there to help out, which was pretty awesome. Uh, and after that, heck, sorry, I kind of lost track. And then Mrs. wasn't doing so well. We didn't pay rent for 5 months. We were there 7 months in Lakewood. Eventually, we went to a Mile High Flea Market. It's just a little bit north of Denver. It was a survival tactic to sell what inventory we had at the flea market. That way we can survive. And we were hoping that the store there would do well and get a good footing once again. It didn't. It absolutely did not. Eventually, the landlord got in trouble after we moved out. He threatened to sue us several times over the phone. And thankfully, my wife, she defended it so well, argued with this John landlord guy. And we moved back in with my grandparents. Well, it was the first time moving in with them. So we stayed there a couple months. And that's when I restarted Puzzle Addictions for the second time. It didn't die too long. And that's when the Guhong and Lun Hui and Zhanchi came out. And that's when I started the Godly Guhong. I started modding. That was a big breakthrough for me and a lot of people. I spent a lot of hours modding. It helped me get enough money to move out of my grandparents. Move into an apartment not too far away. It was a very high crime, high violence area. So we moved there, kept doing the online business, and it grew pretty good actually, pretty steady. And at the time, I was taking out some money from it to pay for a lawyer fund thing. I don't want to go into details because I'm not too clear on what's true and what's not true about it. I don't want to get into it. It has to do with my wife and money and stuff. It's hard to think about. But then I started doing stickers later on that year, around New Year's. And the stickers grew. The ISO stickers grew quite well. And time passed by pretty quickly as business was growing. Now, my wife stayed in the apartment because we cashed the money over for the green card. She didn't get a green card, so she couldn't work. I feel absolutely terrible about this because recently I understand how she's felt trapped. You know, being in the U.S., coming to the U.S., she didn't have any friends in the U.S., not having a job, take care of the kids all the time, and I'm doing business. And then eventually, I'm doing business, and I'm going through these phases where I'm antisocial. I mean, I do chat with a lot of people online and on YouTube, but for some reason, I was lacking some communication. I mean, communication issues. So then I started this habit of kind of lying to people about their orders. And it got deeper as it went along. I absolutely did not intend to do that. But I believe that I was overwhelmed, you know, trying to be there with my wife and stuff. Trying to understand the situation and keep going on with business. And there's a lot of cubers, I know, that have kept me going. I wanted me to do reviews, new stuff, stickers. So I've kept doing business. I mean, I really thought about stopping it back then. That way I can make a better future for my wife and kids. And stuff like that. But I kept doing business. And then around time came the pan cheese. Anybody knows pan cheese? They fucking suck. I mean, they break. They broke a lot. And that was a bad part of doing business. And I started procrastinating a lot on some orders, neglecting some people, responding to emails, coming up with excuses. It's something I don't totally understand why I started doing that. It's something I came to later find out that I was diagnosed with Asperger's just recently, around the beginning of sometime in January. So I'm not going to put it on that like mental condition, Asperger's. I mean, ultimately it's my responsibility to keep on top of things, especially being a business owner, keeping on top of things and not letting things fall apart like the way they did. And come around late June, July 2013, about a year ago, immigration was coming after my wife, and I had just purchased a large format printer for doing decals and logos for People's Cubes. It was very interesting at the time, and because of that, finances they sunk so bad, and I was taking a lot of money out to pay for wife's immigration stuff that I don't know if it's true or not, which unfortunately, and also to sorry, I lost track of what I was saying. But yeah, July, I think it was July 5th, if I can remember the date specifically. My wife and family and I, we all went to the bank. We're trying to figure out why my money was being sucked away out of my bank. So many overdrafts. And after the bank, on the way home to the apartment, I had a panic attack, anxiety attack. I was driving pretty crazy, and get home, I'm yelling, losing myself. I punched holes in the walls, like I went all the way through and stuff. And my wife, she's crying. And I'm just, this finance is not working out. I'm neglecting customers. I don't know what's wrong, And she walked out for the first time. And somehow I got her back a couple times. And she told me I had to go to World Championships. So she watched kids and I went to World Championships. I didn't enjoy it like I should have, because I kept thinking about relationship stuff and customers. I really wanted to bring her along with me so we could have fun in Las Vegas, like we did in the past with the Hong Kong. Didn't get to. So World Championships, I drink a lot, and anybody who knows the Rubik's guy, he's on YouTube. He needs more subscribers, so subscribe to him, please, because he makes some pretty good videos. He's very random like me. I hung out a lot with Jameson. His name is Jameson, and just one friend. I drink about every night. I drink a little too much, and because of my financial situation, on one of those, I think it was the second day of World Championship, I had to walk like some 10 miles to my bank just to fix some credit card issues, and that way I could actually feed myself. Now I walked in, it's probably 105 degrees. I don't know how hot it was that day, but it was freaking humid. I walked 10 miles freaking across the interstate and to my bank just to get some cash. So I wasted a lot of time doing stuff that I should have been ready for. So I didn't take a whole lot of videos. I met Hugh Medford. He's a pretty cool guy. I met Me, Myself, and Pi, Felix, Vaz, and stuff. It was pretty good. It was funny. But I didn't think a whole lot about World Championship. I didn't want to be there. I thought a lot about things that I should have done in the past that could have helped out greatly. But anyways, after World Championship, I faded away. I avoided the internet. And very depressed, and supposedly before World Championship, my mother-in-law went into a coma. She was poisoned. Now, I'm very convinced that that's not true. It was set up by my wife for her very own reasons of doing stuff. And it made me go very low. I was taking care of my kids by myself. Still had to work it, 4 nights a week. Not full time, but very low time in my life. I was thinking about suicide at that time. But what am I going to do with the kids? Where am I going to put them if I were to do this? And then eventually I got evicted from the apartment because I took so much money out to try to help my wife with legal documents and stuff like that. So I got evicted. I had to move with my grandparents. And this is the time when Colorado had their floods. So flood was an issue and it hurt inventory. And so I moved in with my grandparents. They helped out a lot. And my wife's doing her thing. Supposedly going to see her mom in LA. Coma stuff. And come around November, I get a text from my wife. She says, like, I'm pregnant, or something like that. And she's like, oh, it's okay, it's just another baby, it's no big deal, just to have another baby. At that time, I had some doubt that it wasn't mine. I had a little bit of doubt. But later on, I felt more comfortable believing that the baby was mine. And I eventually brought my wife back to me in December. We tried to sell at the flea market again. It didn't work so well because the weather was cold and no one was interested in getting decals from us. So she went back to her job. And around New Year's, I got some texts from her. She said, it's like, I'm drinking a lot and stuff. Being pregnant is not a very good thing. So it got me into panic mode so quick and so hard. So, New Year's Eve, I decided to take my daughter along with me, go pick up my wife. She was in Rock Springs working. We got stranded New Year's Eve in a blizzard in the middle of Wyoming. We got stuck alongside the road in the middle of the night, blizzard. And it was scary. I didn't have stuff to help us out, and there's no one else on the road because they closed the road behind us. So we were stranded until daytime. Luckily, I found some cardboard and stuff in the back of my vehicle, got myself out under the tires and stuff. So I picked up my wife, drove her back to Greeley, Colorado. She said, I want an abortion and stuff, and it was difficult for me to comprehend this. But we talked about it a lot. I don't want to get into a whole lot of details. It's hard to get into. Brought her back to Greeley. It took a couple days because there was so much black ice on the roads that I had to go like 25 miles an hour. Luckily, no one's gotten hurt, like I say. I've gone through so many freaking snowstorms going back and forth between Colorado and Wyoming. It's insane. I got a rear-wheel drive in my vehicle, so if you understand what that's like. So coming back to Colorado, I agreed with her. We're going to do this abortion because we're not ready for another child, absolutely by far. So, this is January 3rd, okay? This is the big day for me. January 3rd. January 2nd, I went to work that night. All I could think about was talking to somebody. Like, I need some help. There's shit in my life that I can handle. I didn't ask for any help that night. Came back home to my grandparents. My wife was sleeping. She wasn't feeling very good. I'm like, are we going to go Planned Parenthood and get this done? We need to get it done. She wasn't talking very much. And I'm getting upset. I'm like, we got to get this done. I don't want to keep playing around. So I go into a huge anxiety attack at that time. This is January 3rd, okay? Like, anxiety attack. And I'm crying and stuff, and then I didn't tell my wife where I was going. So I left my grandparents' house. I started driving. Anxiety attack. I'm at my ultimate high. Well, I've had worse, but anxiety attack. My heart's racing. I'm dizzy as hell. I can't think straight. I just start driving. I'm taking myself to the mental doctor. I'm running red lights. Almost get hit a few times. And somewhere I ended up in some random neighborhood in front of some people's houses. And Jameson, the Rubik's guy, he told me to call him if I ever felt like I was going to do something to myself. And so I called him that morning. And I was shaking, you know. He calmed me down, I guess, a little bit. And he told me to go get help and stuff and breathe calmly. So, if you're watching this, Jameson, I thank you very much. You helped me a little bit there. It wasn't quite enough. It was enough for what I was thinking on doing later in the day. So, I finally got myself to the mental doctor. They made me wait and stuff. My wife was calling me where I'm at. So I was like, I'm gonna leave this place. I'm not gonna wait for these doctors anymore. So I was about to walk out the door. They turned me around. They got me to talk to someone. And I talked to this lady, and she said to let my wife go. Let her do her thing. Ignore her. She's gonna destroy you. Just let her be free. There's better people out there for you. She's gonna hurt you. You don't need to kill yourself. You have kids and stuff like that. She helped calm me down a little bit more there. And I wasn't as dizzy afterwards. Eventually I got home. Back to the grandparents. My wife was kind of pissed off where I was. And I explained to her, and she's like, oh, okay, whatever. So it was my day off. I did call my mom, and I visited with her. Explained what had been going on and stuff like that for a couple hours. And it was my day off. My wife was still at the house with my grandparents. She was sleeping. I did not sleep. It was probably about 1 a.m. I got up. I sat in front of my computer. The computer turned off. I was just staring at it. And I'm like, all these people I've ignored for so long. Not getting customers back their money from orders they'd never received. And thinking about where I am, you know. Didn't like being with my grandparents because they're ultra conservative and very concerned about me. I sat in front of my computer and I was like, I'm just going to do it. So, I took my chair over underneath the stairway in the basement there. I found a pretty sturdy pipe. Extension cable, cord. I tied it up around the pipe area there. I made sure it was tight around my neck. I stood on that chair for a long time. I thought about everything in my entire life. I don't know how long I was there standing on it. I was gonna do it. I was like, I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm scared what's gonna happen. I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know what's to come. I just wanted to stop right there. But I went through all my memories. I thought about my kids. I didn't want to do this to them. Ultimately, my kids have made me think about their future without Dad. I couldn't do it to them, so they kept me alive. I mean, I had a hard time untying the freaking cable from around my neck. I was in panic trying to get it off. I'm like, I can't do this. I've got to do something. I've got to hope for something. I only live once. I mean, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. I don't. I mean, if I were religious, I probably would have done it a long time ago. I would have jumped, killed myself. I only live once. There's only one life for me. So, I got off the chair. I felt numb. I couldn't feel myself. I could not feel myself whatsoever. But I was compelled to keep going. So, I'm not going to do it. I'm not even thinking about it, doing it again. I'm not going to. I'm not even going to come close to thinking about killing myself. It's when I was standing there, I was thinking, all these other people commit suicide, attempting. It's like there's much worse. There is so much worse that you can experience in life. Damn, my fucking nose is running. Nasty. There is so much worse in life. At that time, I wasn't experiencing the things I have experienced in the 3 weeks ago. Whereas probably my all-time worst experience of my life. Still no one died, so